Gibsons are bad, but are they? Hey everybody, my name is Chris. Welcome back to my music channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my opinions on Gibson, whether I think they're good or they're bad, and see what you guys think. Now, as you guys may know, I do have Gibson. It is the 2014 Gibson LPJ in Fireburst finish. It is immaculate. I absolutely love this guitar. This has always been my dream guitar to own, a Gibson Les Paul, and I do own one. I got it back in 2015. If you want to see the full review on it, I do have it linked in the cards and in the description box below. But this is just an American machine. When I think of Gibson, this is what I think. And this is actually a lower end model, and it looks really good. But today I'm going to be talking to you about my opinion on Gibsons and whether I think that I agree with the internet or if it's different. Now, the first thing that people always say about Gibson is the lack of quality control, or they have bad quality control. Now, like with this guitar, it's immaculate. I absolutely love it. I mean, there are some features that I changed, just cosmetic, the pickup rings, the binding, the pickup selector ring, and the toggle end, and the knobs. Other than that, everything is stock on the guitar. I absolutely love it. 61 zebras. And a lot of people, especially on the internet, I am a moderator and admin on Gibson Les Paul group. On Facebook, it's about 70 to 80,000 right now. And every time they say, oh, they have bad quality control, Gibsons are bad quality. And I'm thinking, no, I personally don't think so. I think that some people may get a guitar that isn't great. I mean, they're made in factory, I mean, they're made by hand, but there are sometimes where there's imperfections. So not every guitar is going to be perfect, and not every guitar is the same either. So if you give me another LPJ just like this, it's not going to be the same. A lot of people say, oh, just get the older models, like from 1950 to 1980. And while I do agree that some of the older guitars have some character and some class to them, I personally think that the newer models, especially this 2014, from 2014 all the way up to 2019, are fantastic guitars. I've played hundreds of Gibsons before, and most of them have been the newer models, and I love them. I absolutely love them. There's only one time where I did not like a Gibson Les Paul for its playability and its sound. I think it was a 2012 Gibson ES335 Studio. So it just had the matte finish, it had the volume and the tone, and the pickup selector. There's just dot inlays, whatnot. But taking from cosmetics away, I did not like it. It played like a poorly built up the phone, and it just sounded so muddy. And I understand that 335s are going to be a little muddier, that's just their nature, but it was just bad. I felt like I can get better tone out of a Fender Mustang, to be honest. But that was just the one guitar that the Gibson I played that I did not like for its tone and playability. The other Gibson I didn't like was the Gibson Firebird. I love the guitar itself. It's just the aesthetic and the structure of the guitar, it just wasn't my style. It played great. It had a really thin fingerboard, which I was surprised, but it sounded really great, especially with those mini humbuckers. Mini humbuckers sound fantastic. But I just didn't like it because it's a personal preference, not because of quality control. And I don't know if I had said this in the video of the review, but when I first got this guitar, it was on a Wednesday, so I was practicing in the youth band. I had a Snark clip-on tuner, and I had it on the stand just sitting, and for some reason it went boom. It fell face first, and I literally saw it in slow motion. I was thinking, holy cow, I just spent $900 on this guitar, and it's broken. I am going to have a heart attack. I'm about to go to Sam Ash, even though they're closed. I look, the tuner, obviously, ripperoonie. It is destroyed. There is no way of saving it. It was a $30 tuner, and I was really upset about that. But then I looked at the guitar itself. The only thing that I had happen was a tiny little mark. You can't even see it. unless you're really looking up close, a tiny little mark from where the clip-on tuner actually sat on the guitar and maybe moved just slightly. And there's nothing wrong with the guitar. There's no cracks, there's nothing, no headstock break, no dipping, no bowing, nothing. And I was very surprised because I've always heard that Gibsons have bad headstock breaks. And personally, I've never seen a broken Gibson headstock other than online, of course. Not saying that it don't happen, but it's more rare than you would think. And I've had a personal friend, he had a $3,500 Gibson, a custom shop. It was red, it was gorgeous. It was his baby. I got to play it one time and it was great. And his headstock broke, which was unfortunate, and it was a bummer because that was his uncle's that was given to him, and so it had a lot of sentimental value. But other than that, other than like internet, I personally have never seen a broken headstock from a Gibson. I have seen the pictures and they are horrible. I'm not saying they don't happen, but I've never had an issue with the headstock angle, and going into that, the tuning of the guitars. Now, a lot of people say that the Gibson Les Pauls or Gibson guitars in general are very bad because the D and the G string take a very hard turn into the tuning pegs. Now, while that is true, and I have seen some tuning issues, it's mainly not due to the headstock and the tuning machine's position. It's more on the lines of the person did not know how to string their guitar. Now, I've had some times where I did not properly string this guitar and I had trouble tuning it. But I recently, in the last year or so, I've been doing it perfectly, and I've never had an issue with the tuning. Not at once do I have an issue with the tuning, other than maybe like, hey, I live in Florida, so Florida's bipolar, and humidity happens, or it's in its case for a long time and I have to just tune it up slightly. That's natural. That's going to happen on any guitar, even on locking guitars. That's going to happen. But it's not a stark contrast. Like my G string sometimes gets out of tune, but it's because it gets old. I mean, strings get old. You have to replace them. I'm probably going to have to replace these strings soon. I think I've had these on for a little while, but they still sound really good. And my guitar is not in tune right now because I just took it out of the case. But I never have tuning issues with this. Once I've locked, I don't even have locking. These are just standard, the Gibson Deluxe tuners that came onto this 2014 LPJ. I don't have any tuning issues whatsoever. And I thought about going with locking tuners, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep it original because I don't have tuning issues. So that's my recommendation. If you have tuning issues on the Gibson, properly installing strings on the Gibson will help a lot. But honestly, like some of the gripes that people have about Gibsons are honestly frivolous, especially with the Gibson Les Paul standard. They're just thinking, oh wow, why do you have push-pull? Why do you have weird switching? Why do you have locking tuners, apex? That's because it's standard. That's what they wanted to do. Like, and I'm glad they did that because they had the Gibson Les Paul Traditional, which is literally a Gibson Les Paul standard. That's literally what it is. It's just without all the high-end features of push-pull, of the weird switching, and all that. If you want a Gibson Les Paul that represents something from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, old Les Paul standards, get a traditional. You will not be disappointed. If you want something with more functionality and that plays like a standard but has maybe split coil or whatnot, get a standard. I mean, it's ultimately up to you. And that leads me into my last point. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the internet. Honestly, don't listen to me. Yeah, no, that's contrary. I'm saying that on my channel, on my video. Don't listen to me. But hear me out. Don't take everyone's word for a Gibson or any guitar, PRS, Fender, whatever. Don't take their word on, hey, I don't like this guitar, or this person doesn't like this guitar, so I'm not going to like this guitar. Don't do that. Go to Guitar Center. Go to Sam Ash. Go to any music store where you can find any guitar, especially if you can find a Gibson. Play that in the store. Check out the features. Sometimes binding doesn't match up, but that's just a cosmetic thing. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you have a scratch because it's used. That's gonna happen. I have scratches all over my guitar, and I'm happy with that. But play the guitar in store and check out for yourself. Stop listening to people on the internet and just go out and play it. Then you can develop your own opinions, which is what I have done. I have done that with Gibsons, I've done that with PRS, I've done that with Fender. And side note, I used to hate Fender Stratocasters until I got one and I played it, and it was a Squire. Of all things, it was a Squire, and I loved it. And I have a Squire Strat. I used to hate Telecasters. I used to hate maple fretboards, but I played a nice maple fretboarded Telecaster. It sounded and played very fantastic, so I'll eventually own one of those. But go out and play the guitar before you develop an unbiased opinion based on someone else's unbiased opinion. Because Gibsons are always going to be my number one, PRS is going to second, and Fender is going to be the third. I love these guitars, and I think Gibson are making some great strides. There have been models that have been questionable, but for the most part, it's been very fun playing some Gibsons, and I do plan on going to the Gibson factory later on in the future. I will leave with probably a Gibson Les Paul or an SG out from the factory, but that's future Chris problems. So what did you guys think? Do you agree with some of the things that I said, or do you still think that Gibsons aren't great? I want to know in the comment sections below. I want to have a discussion with you guys, not an argument. I will not say, hey, you're wrong for thinking this way. I just want different opinions. That way I can be more educated, and then you can be more educated. Just comment, do you like Gibsons or not? That's the question. Do you like Gibsons or not, and why? If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications on posts I do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I am doing a giveaway. If I can by the end of the year, by December 31st, if I can hit 500 subscribers, and we're about 50 subscribers right now, 500 subscribers, I will do a guitar giveaway. Well, not a guitar giveaway, a guitar player giveaway. Basically, strings, picks, probably a string winder, probably some cleaning kits, just a care package. And it'll be something out of my pockets. It'll probably be to the US. I'm not sure yet. You just have to work that out. But don't forget to subscribe to my other channel called the EYN, where we do taste tests, anime, movie reviews, skits, etc. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at LessonsChris, capital L, capital C, where I do post very frequently, and I do post videos, I do post some stuff that I'm working on, and don't forget to follow me on my Facebook channel, which I have linked in the description box below. Basically, I just use that to post my videos and to give you guys some news on what's happening. I would love to just connect with you guys. Don't forget to share this video with friends, and until next time, keep rocking.